6 hours of blue-collar Joe Biden's presidency, including one of our next guests who has been a pipeline welder for more than 20 years.
Put us to work. We're not looking for a handout. We don't want to get on a government check. We want to go to work. We want to do our job. We want to provide for our families, and we want to go home. And that's what I would tell the government right now.
That guy speaking is Adam Stout. He's a member of the Pipeliners local union 798, one of 4 unions whose members are now out of work. Adam joins us right now along with Daniel Turner, the founder and executive director of Power the Future. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
You know, Adam, I just in that introduction, I mentioned Joe Biden as blue-collar Joe. When he was out on the campaign trail, that's all he could talk about was he was going to make sure that people in the middle class, the blue collar, were going to have jobs under his administration. And in the first 6 hours, he got rid of your blue-collar job.
Well, over 40 years in politics, and he's going to call himself blue-collar. I doubt his hands has very many calluses on it. That doesn't make him blue collar. Get out and work every day. That's blue collar.
And you want to work. I mean, you were planning on this job, but just, you know, they pulled the rug out from under you. What are you going to do now?
You know, that's a really good question. My wife and I, we have a daughter in college. How do we pay for that? How do we add to retirement, provide health care, all of these things? How are we going to do that now? It's a really good question, you know. May run for office, you know. Seems to be pretty easy these days.
Well, you don't have to, Adam, because the administration is saying that guys like you who lost their jobs, they're going to be really good, high-paying union jobs for you somewhere, sometime, doing something like maybe building solar panels.
You know, the 11,000 union jobs is very important. Like you said, 4 major crafts. You know, pipeliners, local 798, Teamsters, you know, truck drivers, operating engineers, equipment operators, laborers, all the way down. You know, I just don't see that happening. Not to mention the other domino effect of people that are going to lose their jobs once we bring in our support. Right. You know, where's all that going to come from?
Exactly.
You know, it's just not going to work.
Daniel, you say that the diesel industry actually could have something to do with this.
Absolutely. There's this idea that the Keystone pipeline was a new way to get or a new connection between Texas, which was going to refine the oil, and Canada, where it was coming from. The fact of the matter is that this oil has been transported 40 years, but it's been transported by rail car. And Adam and his colleagues told me that every rail car burns 78,000 gallons of diesel in one trip, and there are multiple trips a week. So the diesel industry, the railroad industry, really is the one behind a lot of this. We have to abolish this myth that this is about climate change. This has nothing to do with the environment. It has nothing to do with the environmental left or the green movement. This is because the people who run the railroad industry gave an awful lot of money to the Biden campaign, particularly Berkshire Hathaway, and Biden rewarded them. And let's just be blunt about that. Let's be honest and not hide behind this green movement, which is what the Democrats always do. They always claim it's about the earth and it's about politics, right. Pure and simple. So,
Daniel, you are saying unequivocally that Adam is out of work because of a political payback.
Absolutely. And there's a political payback when it comes to solar panels, when it comes to wind turbines. There are people poised to make a lot of money, and you have to see where they are spending their money. Look at the folks advising the Biden administration right now. Brian Deese, most of all, from BlackRock, who has spent years telling BlackRock investors to invest in green technology. Now he's in charge of the Economic Council, and what is he going to advise the Biden administration to do? Buy green. And who's going to benefit? BlackRock. Again, this happens all the time in D.C., but let's be honest about it, and let's stop trying to tell people like Adam that they're bad for the environment and start telling him honestly, you're just on the wrong side of the political conversation.
Man, oh man, it's terrible. Blue Collar Joe was for the blue collar until so many lost their jobs just 2 weeks ago yesterday. Adam and Daniel, thank you very much for telling us your stories.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
You bet. All right. We'll keep you posted on Adam's progress. Meanwhile, it's the moment so many parents across the country can relate to. Remember this?